And let me turn up the volume here. Happy Sunday, everyone. Okay, I think I'm live now. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you are all doing well and getting ready to go into your week feeling good. Today's message is all about slowing down and asking for help, okay? And this is a message I learned the hard way this week. So I will tell you there will be a little bit of story time in this. And I'll also have some 3 tips for how you can actually slow yourself down, how you can kind of give yourself permission to, relax a little bit more, give yourself that self-care, that summer self-care that we all need. And if you struggle with this, I'll give you 3 tips in this video. I want to make this one a quick one because I am a little sick. I'm recovering from a cold. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I sound a little Fran Drescher-ish. So I want to go rest my voice. But this week's message is about slowing down and asking for help. And before we dive into that, I am Ayana, your coach, and I am here helping you with your self-talk transformation. Okay, so what I do is I help people who struggle with negative thoughts and negative self-talk going on in their heads because those negative thoughts sabotage everything that we do. I help people transform those thoughts so that they can have a positive mindset, so they can have better mental health, so they can feel happier and actually feel empowered to go after their goals and dreams, okay? So if that's something that you need help and support with, hit me up. I'd love to support you, okay? Reach out to me, message me or comment in this video in order to get a one-on-one free phone call with me. I'd love to support, okay? And without that, let's dive into this week's topic, which is all about slowing down and getting help. And if you're like, why is Ayana looking down so much? It's because I'm looking at my notes, okay? You caught me. So slowing down our pace and getting help. Whew, this is a challenge for so much of us, okay? Now, I wasn't always a type A person, but I became a type A person, especially when I had kids. If you are a parent, then you understand, right? There is a lot to juggle, a lot to manage, especially in the US. In the United States, we have so much on our plates and we don't get help with our kids from the government in the way that other Western countries might, okay? In European countries, you get more support. But regardless of where you are, it is hard and it is a struggle. And in the US, I tell my clients this all the time, income, since the 1970s, income has not been going up as high as expenses have. So, the paycheck that most of us are getting is not enough to make ends meet, and most of us need multiple incomes. So we can really feel like, even if you don't have kids or don't want kids or that's not your life, you might feel like you're burning the candle at both ends because most of us need multiple incomes. I'm in a similar position. So it can make us feel as though we have to be going constantly. And sometimes for survival, we do. And so what I want to encourage us to do, though, is in those, finding those moments and being intentional and forcing ourselves to slow down. Because without slowing down, the whole thing falls apart. We fall apart if we are not able to slow down. But the biggest thing that we have to do, when we dive into our 3 tips for how to slow down, you'll see what's the biggest issue is outside of the socioeconomic things that are happening in the US. But the number one thing that makes it hard internally is our ego. Because a lot of us, especially in the United States, we were raised with this whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps mentality, right? A lot of us, we were raised to believe that we need to do it all right now, do it perfectly, and do it by ourselves. So a lot of us internally put pressure on ourselves to not only keep moving, but to keep going. And if you were a person like me who used to, who felt like, why am I constantly busy? Why do I constantly have things to do? Now, I'll tell you this, the time in my life where I had like a mental breakdown was when I was, my first couple years of teaching, which, if you're a brand new teacher, it takes a lot of time. So I was working maybe 60, 70 hours a week because I was brand new and I needed to figure out lesson planning and all these other things. I was in school. I was taking care of my mom. I was my mom's only caregiver. I also was pregnant and then eventually had kids as well in this mix. And I was also trying to be a community organizer. And just saying all of that out loud just feels like, what the heck was wrong with me? Okay. I mean, it sounds overwhelming, right? But a lot of us are doing that. And it's because I didn't realize that, yes, I had things that I needed to do and deal with. And yes, I had things that I was responsible for. But what I also didn't realize was I felt a lot of my self-worth came from being needed and from people needing me. Okay, so, I didn't like, if your self-worth is tied up in being needed and being busy, you will always make excuses to do things. Okay, so if you struggle to find that free time on your weekends, if you struggle to take a break, if you're squeezing work in, or if you're squeezing this in, and there's just never any time for a break, either one of two things needs to happen. You need to make a plan to transition out of the crazy situation that you're in, or you need to recognize that you might be addicted to busyness and work on that so that you can transition out. The second tip is to slow down and just be present in the moment that you're in. Now, this was a big adjustment for me, and I did not really know how to do it. Okay, but slowing down and just being present in whatever moment you're in. So one of the things that I do is I time manage. I kind of manage my schedule so that this is my this is my time that's allotted for work. This is my time that's allotted for resting. This is my time that's allotted for kids, etc. Okay, and what I try to do, and this took a lot of years to get to this point, is just be present in that moment that I'm in. So if it's the work block, all I'm focusing on is work. That's it, okay? And I give myself breaks within that, but that's all I'm focused on. So that way, I can really utilize that properly. And then I get more done. I'm more productive when I just focus on that one thing. And then I know I have a break coming up, and when that break comes up, all I do is chill. I'm intentional. I'm present in my break. And with my kids, I'm present in that kid block. Okay? Now, it's not perfect, right? We're all human beings, but this is what I strive for. And when I do this, it allows me to just really calm and be present in that moment. And that helps so much with anxiety. It helps so much with mental health issues. It helps so much with that feeling of feeling like, oh man, I should be doing this. I should be doing X. I should be doing Y, right? Because I know I've planned it ahead, and I'm just going to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing in this moment and nothing else. Okay, so that is a very important key to slowing down. Then the third and final tip is asking for help and accepting it. Asking for help and accepting it. And I used to suck at this. Again, if your self-worth, if you are one of those people who feels super good when you have a to-do list and you're checking it off, now there's nothing wrong with feeling happy about checking things off your task list. But if you're obsessed with it, if your self-worth is tied up in being needed, okay, this is going to be a hard one for you. But asking for help and getting help are going to be critical. We are not meant to do everything alone. And actually, a couple generations ago, we as human beings, we used to live closer to our family members. Now, some of you guys might live really close to friends and family members, but I know in the US, it's not uncommon for people to live across the country. I have huge family, okay? I have probably hundreds of extended family members from both sides of my family who live in Haiti, who live in the South, who live on the East Coast, who live further up north from me on the West Coast, who live in Canada. I mean, I have people who live everywhere. But because of planes, they're not around the corner in the way that a couple generations ago they might have been. So it's very hard. So I can tell being my husband and I being working parents was very hard. There was a lot of pressure that was just on us. Okay, and my parents' generation also dealt with that too. But there was a time where not that long ago, you had you had so many extended family members helping people with stuff. We were not meant to do everything by ourselves. Okay, we are team people. We are social beings. So it is normal to want that help. So what do we have to do, right? In a world where nowadays we might have to get creative, because if you're like me and my family is far away and you can't really get that day-to-day help and support, you got to get creative and really try, number one, to think through how can family and friends who are far away from me, how can they really support with my mental health and well-being, right? So maybe it's not that they can come help you delegate some things off your plate, but maybe they can listen. Maybe they can be there and support. Maybe they can help you come up with creative ideas and solutions. Maybe they know people in your area who can help you with things, okay? Get creative. If you're alone, if you are a single parent, okay? If you are, just working on your own and you feel like you don't have a lot of help and support, get creative. Facebook groups. I mean, there are so many meetup groups that are local. One of the things that helped me when I was a brand new mother was local moms groups. They helped me survive, right? Play dates, Oh, play dates are just everything. When you're when you feel alone and isolated, you can go complain and vent to another mom who understands what you're dealing with. It's just amazing. You can get advice. Just incredible. And it doesn't cost you anything, right? You can also build networks online, communities online of people who understand and are dealing with exactly what it is that you're dealing with, who can recommend where you might be able to get support. And if you need support, like if you're somebody who works a lot and you need help with cooking or your home, you can probably, and you can't afford to pay for these things and outsource them. You can barter with people. You can trade. Okay? So get creative. Sometimes when we're feeling hopeless and when we feel stuck and we're stressed and overwhelmed, it's hard to get creative. But get creative. Use your resources. And if you don't, build up those communities and listen to what it is that other people in your similar situations are doing, because there is a way. We just have to be hopeful. We have to not give up hope. We have to think positively and think creatively about different ways to solve these things. Okay? So with that said, I hope that these tips were helpful. And again, if you need some deeper help and support, message me. I got you. I'd love to set up a call. I do have some limited one-on-one coaching available, so if that's something that you want, let me know. And also, too, if you check the link in this description, you will see all different courses on Udemy, a course that is all about, building your confidence, working on your self-talk and your mindset, because you deserve it. Okay, so how will you slow down this week? What will you do for yourself? And again, I was sick, so I had to slow myself down, accept help from my kids. My 8-year-old and 6-year-old were making me all kinds of crazy concoctions to help me with sick. They were helping to clean up. It was very nice. Accept help. It feels good. Bye, everyone.